Welcome in. The Texans are in Cleveland for the first road game of the season. You see the players running out there on the field. Tyrod Taylor, the quarterbacks. Last week, Taylor and the offense scored 37 points and put up 450 yards of total offense, shattering franchise records in their win against Jacksonville. Today, Taylor suits up against his former team to face Myles Garrett and former Texan Jadeveon Clowney. Another Brown-turned-Texans tight end, Pharaoh Brown, caught a touchdown pass for Houston last year. He will be active today. And Lovie Smith's defense, which leads the NFL with 3 interceptions, has a big challenge in another #1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield. They need to also stop or slow down a Browns run game led by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. What do the Texans need to do to come away with a win in Week 2? You've got questions, we've got answers. Texans Unlimited, presented by Verizon, starts now.
We are ready to rock in Houston.
Touchdown, Houston!
Are you kidding? What a catch. Oh, baby.
Welcome into Texans Unlimited, presented by Verizon. The Houston Texans are up at Cleveland today for their Week 2 matchup, coming off a big win against Jacksonville. I welcome in my good friend and my co-host, Drew Doherty. It is great to head into a game with a win on your back, but it'd be nice to get another one here in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's a big test. I mean, this is a nasty front that the Texans are going to face against Cleveland. You got Jadeveon Clowney. You got maybe the best defensive lineman in the NFL in Myles Garrett. Although, yeah, there are some Aaron Donald fans who will argue, and I'll listen to that argument, and I'll accept that argument. But Myles Garrett is really, really good. So they're going to have their hands full. Plus, you get the 2 Maliks in between those 2 I just mentioned. It's going to be a test, and we got lots of stuff to talk about.
We
got
do,
lots of
and
stuff
you know
to
what?
talk
It's
about.
a sunny day in Cleveland,
That's right.
unlike last year where it was hailing. So I'll take good weather any day of the
Sure.
week. But Tyrod Taylor, he's coming off his first win as a Houston Texans starting quarterback. He heads back to Cleveland, where he played the 2018 season. He only started 3 games before concussion knocked him out, and then Baker Mayfield took over as the starting quarterback for the Browns. But he's just one of 8 Texans players that are former Browns. Taylor said it's not about playing his former team. It's about getting a win and executing today at Cleveland.
I mean, anytime you get a chance to play against your former team is definitely an opportunity. I mean, for you to showcase how you've progressed as a player. I mean, obviously those guys spent more time in Cleveland than I did. I was there for a year and started for 3 games, got hurt in the 3rd one. And so everybody's story is different. I'm excited to go back. Yes, I am. But it's not about me. It's about our team here and us working hard throughout this week and us executing on Sunday. It's never about me or my feelings when it comes to going to play against previous teams. Yes, that is part of it, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it. It's about me executing at a high level this weekend as well as everyone else in the locker room.
Last week, the Texans faced #1 overall pick Trevor Lawrence. Today, they'll face another #1 overall pick in Baker Mayfield. It's a big challenge for Lovie Smith's defense. They also have to work against the balanced rush attack of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Lovie Smith talked about what challenges this offense presents for this defense today.
Whenever you don't want to be an offense that's one-dimensional, that can only run it or pass it. When you have balance, it keeps the defense, makes you play them honestly. Most defense, you start off trying to stop the run, and they have 2 excellent running backs, real good offensive line, 3 good tight ends, and there's a commitment, though. When you say you're a running football team, is there a commitment to running the football? We offensively have a commitment to running the football. Cleveland definitely has a commitment to running the football.
And Danny Amendola, the wide receiver, he joined the Texans just a little over a week ago. In his debut with the Texans, 5 catches on 5 targets for 34 yards and a touchdown. Amendola discussed how he was able to get up to speed as quickly as he did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of the formations, a lot of the motions, obviously, in the packages that I'm in, and then some of the verbiage and the play calling is something that I have to do a lot of learning, get in the books and just learn like everybody else did, this year, and they had obviously a lot longer in training camp to do that, but a lot of studying on my part and just getting familiar with my teammates, trying to build camaraderie and try to put the best product on the field.
And we have a little bit more with Danny Amendola. Drew went one-on-one with him before this game, so we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But first, let's get to the inactives of today's game, Drew.
Yeah, there's some notable names today, DP, like last week as well. You got Anthony Miller's probably the key one off the top because he was somebody early in camp that was very impressive. The Texans traded for him with Chicago before camp began. So he's not going to play today, although he has practiced in each of the last 2 weeks and been a full participant in each of the last 2 weeks. You also got a couple, or the rookie, Brevin Jordan, the tight end. He's not going to go today. Anthony Auclair will. So Texans are looking for more beef up front from the tight end spot. Jordan right now is more of a receiving threat and is kind of working on pass protection and blocking in the run game. You won't see Scotty Phillips. He's the odd man out of those 5 running backs in the room. The Texans are going with the veterans there, so we'll have to wait to see Scotty Phillips. And on the defensive front, Jonathan Grenard, DeMarcus Walker, we will not see them. And then, of course, the new defensive back, Jimmy Moreland, and no Deshaun Watson. He has not practiced. He's been in meetings, and he's not played. He was ruled out Friday. We knew that was a certainty, just like it was last week. So those are guys that aren't going to play. And then very notably for the Cleveland Browns, Odell Beckham Jr., not going to suit up. He's inactive as well. And they're dealing with shakiness up front on their offensive line as far as injuries and guys who are not playing at full strength. So keep an eye on that, DP, today as far as the health front.
Yeah, it's good to see a few names not on that list. Kamu Grugier-Hill, he had an illness. He did not practice. He was listed as questionable. And then Pharaoh Brown, who did not practice for the first 2 days of the week, return was limited. He was questionable with an ankle and a shoulder. Really wanted to see him out there against his former team. And he is active today, so good news.
He would probably have to have 3 limbs amputated to not suit up for this game. Knowing Pharaoh Brown and knowing what this means to him, he was a Cleveland Brown. He's from that area. He's from Lyndhurst, Ohio, which is right outside of Cleveland. So, yeah, Pharaoh Brown's going to suit up. He's going to be excited about this one. This means something to him, as we heard Ryan Fitzpatrick say way back when, before a game against the Buffalo Bills when he was a Houston Texans quarterback. So, yeah, this is very, very important, Pharaoh Brown.
This game means something to me. Was it against the Bills or was it against the Titans?
No, it was against the Bills. Definitely against the Bills.
Bills. I do remember that speech. All right, let's get to some of your questions. If you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. Drew loves to shout out all sorts of places. So do I.
You,
countries,
DP. Yeah,
cities, all over the world. It's a lot of fun to see where people are watching from. Adam wants to know, what adjustments can we expect from week 1 to week 2? It's a great question, Adam. And you know what? Everything went really well for them in week 1, so you'd think that formula would work, but you've got a whole different type of personnel, different type of team that you're facing today. So, Drew, I don't know what adjustments you expect. I think from the run game, the one thing that we will see consistently, I thought Tim Kelly said something really interesting last week. He said that he likes to go with the hot hand. Earlier, we thought it was going to be running back by committee. We saw a lot of Mark Ingram, 27 carries. He led the team in rushing yards, had a touchdown. I think we're going to see a heavy dose of him as well when they get the ground game going. But as far as adjustments, I don't know, maybe some different receivers that we see get involved in the passing attack.
This is a $1 million question by Adam, because offensively, the Texans have talked about how this is a game plan offense, so it varies week to week. So I know, because of what we saw from the inactives, it's not very different from what we saw in week 1. They want to be able to protect, and they got to protect today, because this is a much better pass rush, you think, in Cleveland than what you saw against Jacksonville. So that's why they've got the big boys like Auclair brought up instead of Brevin Jordan. Pharaoh Brown's going to be important again. Don't forget Akins as well. Akins was a little quiet last week. I could see him getting involved today and being an option. So as far as big adjustments, max protect, I believe, and then defensively, you're going to get tested a little bit differently, because this is a nasty run game. I've said the word nasty, but it's a good word to use with those 2 running backs and with that front that they have in Cleveland.
It's going to be such a slugfest between the O-line and the D-line. I think there's a lot. There's going to be, both teams are going to try to run the ball and get the ground game going.
Well, you and I have both said this offensive line and defensive line for the Texans are much better than last year's. We're going to see how much better they are, because they're going to get challenged.
All right. Jamal wants to know, what color jerseys are the Texans wearing? They're wearing Liberty white jerseys with their deep steel blue pants. Unlike last week, it was Liberty white out, so they've got the blue pants on today. Mac wants to know, who do you think will shine today? I like Drew's answer of the tight ends. I think the tight ends, we're going to see more of them. We saw Pharaoh Brown make some big catches last week. He almost had a touchdown, but came down just to set up the Wildcat the Ingram Wildcat run. So maybe we'll see Farrell Brown get another touchdown. He had one there last year.
I just keep an eye on all the former Browns. You know, this is definitely
him,
it means a little bit more. I don't care what is said. It's not just any other game when you're playing against your former
not buying it.
team. Nobody believes that. That's fine, but keep your eye on them because guys like Christian Kirksey, I mean, he's the quarterback of the defense. He's got the green dot on his helmet. So look out for Kirksey. Look out for Terrence Mitchell. I mean, he's going to be very, very important all season long. Yeah,
yes,
Money
that's
Mitch,
what
as
they call
him
in Cleveland.
So yeah, look out for the former Browns. Eric Murray, safety. He's going to be important too. So they're all going to get challenged today, and that's who I say. Former Browns.
There's your guy, Danny Amendola. Drew caught up with him a little bit earlier, but you got to cover him at Texas Tech, and I know you're just so proud of the 13 years that you've known him.
I've known him longer than that. That's how many years he's been in.
That's how many years he's been in the league.
A player in the league, and he came in. It was the least surprising thing. He signed on a Tuesday and went out and caught 5 passes and a touchdown on Sunday, and I was not stunned by it at all. He just knows where to be. He knows how to get open. In that interview, you'll see in a moment, I asked him about, hey, how'd that first catch feel? And he said, I knew I was getting the ball on that play just when we set up, and I was like, what? And I asked, I was like, has it always been that way? He's like, oh, no. When I was a rookie, I didn't know this, but he's been around so long and he knows this offense. It's a variation of what they ran in New England when he was there, that he just saw the coverages and everything, and he's like, I'm going to be open. He's going to throw it to me. And he did. And he caught it for about 6-7 yards, helped move the chains, and just a fascinating guy to have around, on this team. He's seen everything. He's played with the best in Tom Brady, and he's a good guy to have on a team.
It's interesting because with Anthony Miller out dealing with the shoulder injury, it certainly helps having Amendola there. And you see some of the other wide receivers that were warming up. Brandon Cooks, who had 2 tremendous catches last week as well. So curious to see what happens with him today.
Yeah, we can't undersell how great those 2 catches were by Cooks. I mean, those were amazing catches. I mean, he went after the ball, ripped it away, and there was a fierce wrestling match on that first one down along the goal line. He was money last weekend, and you need him to keep being that way. And I think he's like we talked about all throughout training camp when we were doing this live show. He's got to be one of the most underrated receivers in all the NFL.
He really stretches the length of the field. Both of those deep catches could have been interceptions. David Conley said he was so nervous watching the ball go up, but he came down with him, and he's not a huge receiver. He plays bigger than his size.
He sure does.
And you know what? You're right. I think that he's really a lot of fun, very exciting to watch. Chaz from Arizona wants to know, do you think David Johnson can thrive as a receiving back? Chaz, I certainly would think so because that's what we saw last year in him. But, he's done some pretty good things in the ground game as well. I think we thought he'd be a third down back. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of him. He's looked good so far, Drew.
Yeah, if they truly do go with that quote-unquote hot hand as far as the running back rotation, maybe he becomes a hot hand a game or 2 or 3 or more. Last week it was Ingram. I think look out for Lindsey if he gets going. But, yeah, I think David Johnson's greater value right now on this team is as a receiving back. He caught that touchdown last weekend, and I think they'll throw to him and be willing to throw to him. So, he absolutely can thrive as a receiving back. But I think with the volume of guys in that room, you're not going to see one guy just run away with like a 1,400-yard running back season or 1,400 receiving yard season. I think they're going to split things up and be productive as a whole, but not necessarily superstars in their own right.
Yeah, he had a touchdown as well against Jacksonville. 3 of the 4 backs had a touchdown. Maybe today will be Rex Burkhead's day. Who knows?
That could happen.
It could easily happen if you want to see some other guys. And then next to him, Chris Conley there at number 18, who we really liked a lot of what we saw of him in camp. Had a kind of a quiet game last week, but you know what? We could see him emerge as well.
Yeah. Hey, before we do a next question, we got to sound off. We got Daniel in Cypress checking us out.
Okay.
Kathy in Indiana, Clifford in Beaumont, and he's not a big red dog. We got Ashley in Houston, Ronnie in Rio Grande Valley, Joe in Kingsville, Jerry in Weslaco. So South Texas is coming up huge. And then south of the border, Alberto in Mexico, Richard in England, Chad in Missouri, Tanya in Kentucky, Austin in San Antonio. And Austin is just north of San Antonio, but Austin, the guy, or gal, if it's a girl named Austin, is in San Antonio watching this one. Israel wants to know, when will the Texans get new uniforms? No time soon, Israel. Clifford wants to know, what will the defense need to do to slow down Chubb and Mayfield? I guess if you're talking about compared to last year, you got to stay disciplined and not allow these big gaps.
Right.
So that's kind of like the short answer, but just got to play sound, smart football on the defensive front and keep those guys in front of you as much as you can, because they each had 100 yards in that win over the Texans last year.
It was just so painful, especially at the end there. The Texans had a chance to win, but Nick Chubb broke free peeled off a 59-yard run to extend the Browns' drive. Otherwise, the Texans could have had the ball back with maybe a minute left. So if they remember, if anything, the one lesson they learned was how important it was to just be able to stop the runs. And Nick Chubb certainly looks as good as ever. So that's going to be a big challenge for them today. Jonathan wants to know who will be the sleeper of the game. Ooh, Jonathan, that is a really good question.
I'd say whoever's playing right tackle, because I think there will be a few guys out there on the edge, Charlie Heck, Marcus Cannon, McCray, if he's...
Yep, Marcus Cannon could get some more
game.
reps. He was on a pitch count last week. We see a little bit more of him, but with Charlie Heck off the COVID list, we could see him out there.
They're going to get tested. I mean, if it's Clowney moving around or if it's Myles Garrett moving around, you're going to see somebody on the edge. So you won't hear a lot about them. And you don't. They said this week, a few of them, offensive linemen that talked, if you don't hear our names called, that means we've done something really well. They're kind of like umpires, referees in other sports. If you don't hear their name, that's a good thing. So that's who I'm going to go with. Who's your sleeper?
My sleeper pick, I like that. I'm gonna say somebody on the D-line.
Okay.
I think just getting after Baker Mayfield. I think the D-line's just had a tremendous week last week against Trevor Lawrence, really getting the pressure on him. So I don't know. I'll just take anybody. I'll take anybody off that D-line. I'm not even going to be picky about it.
That's a good one.
All right. Well, if you hear
Amendola.
your name in this section, in this segment of the show, you're doing well, because we've got a surprise for you. I have been wanting to do this for a long time.
Okay.
Some arrival photos. Let's get some outfits up and on this show. Our players are looking sharp. They're looking snazzy. And who do we have up here today? Oh, okay. We've got Whitney Merciless in the baby blue. Kamagruje Hill representing the
He's from Hawaii,
Hawaii roots. And Justin Reed.
What's that
Justin
say?
Reed, what's his shirt say? Original?
Can't see.
I think it says original. He's got some old school players on there. I need like a magnifying glass to see. Our players are looking sharp.
Whitney Merciless, little Miami Vice. Ooh, look
Oh,
at that.
okay. We get the running backs.
Red suit.
The Philip Lindsay with the red.
Good looking.
He's looking sharp. And Mark Ingram. Oh, that bag. You can check your reflection in the Louis Vuitton duffel, when you're getting on and off the plane. That looks sharp.
Meanwhile, my pocket square is a napkin. So that's the
I don't know if these
juxtaposition
backs
on
that are
this
proving your
show.
pockets are. Oh, okay. We've got some more players. We've got Tremont Smith, Eric Murray, Laramie Tunsil rocking the bucket hat. I would think he'd be done with bucket hats after training camp, but I guess it's sunny in Cleveland, so we got some of the defensive players and an O-line. I like it when we get O-linemen up in the fashion segments.
For sure.
Tunsil's certainly one of the more fashionable ones.
They
I
can
love
dress
it.
well.
All right, so this guy, he's probably going to make the list eventually at some point. Danny Amendola, we talked about him. Drew loves him. You had a chance to catch up with your old buddy one-on-one.
Yeah.
Take a look at what they chatted about.
Reliant Drew Doherty with wide receiver Danny Amendola, and wow, what a whirlwind sort of 10 days this has been for you. How are you? What's going on, and what's it been like just the last 2 game weeks?
I'm great. First of all, thanks for asking. It's great to see you again.
Yes.
And the past 10 days really have been kind of a whirlwind for me, just trying to get acclimated with the city, get acclimated with the playbook, my teammates, all the staff here in the building, and it's everything's been smooth. This is a great organization, starting from the top, and I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, we heard you last week meeting with the media before the game, and you were talking about how this offense is very similar to ones you've been in the past in New England. There was a package installed for you, and ho-hum, you come out, you catch 5 passes, one of them's a touchdown, you help move the chains on the other 4. How much more have you grasped of this offense since the game, and how much more are you growing in it, you think?
It's every day is a process, really. I'm trying to absorb as much information as I can, ask as many questions as I can, and try to just learn and grow and kind of conform to, being a good teammate here and learning my role, understanding my role with this team, and try to expand that and try to grow and try to help this team win.
How'd that first catch feel?
Great, man. I've been I wasn't on a team this whole summer, obviously the past 7 months, so I was dreaming about getting back on the field and catching the ball, and Tyrod, the first ball I caught, I knew I was going to get the ball really before the play started. And
just because of what you saw?
Yeah, the coverage they were playing, and I knew I had a chance to get the ball. and it all kind of happened in slow motion. And I remember saying to myself, "All right, here it comes," and then I just caught it and kind of snapped into football mode, and then it, all happened after that. So
let's talk about this Cleveland Browns defense. What stands out to you when you look at them after what you saw against the Chiefs last week?
Yeah, they got some playmakers, man. They fly around. They're well coached. They they play good defense. They're playing at home now. It's going to be a loud crowd, so we got to deal with being on the road, playing in the elements, and they're going to be juiced up coming back off that close game with the Chiefs. So they fly around, man. They got a bunch of great athletes, bunch of great defensive football players. So we got to really grind this week, try to get in a good position against them. So
now let's see how you're powering game day. Danny Amendola, do you have any game day superstitions?
To tell you the truth, I don't. I kind of try to stay. I have a routine, so to speak, but not too many superstitions. I think I had more superstitions when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then I kind of learned that you kind of get stuck in these different kind of modes. One thing goes wrong, then another thing goes wrong, then your head's out of the the proper headspace before the game even starts. So I just try to come into the game as free as I can, of distractions, of try to eliminate all of those things, and just get ready, get my body ready, get my mind ready, and go.
What sort of music you listen to on game day?
Chill, man. I like chill music. And if any music at all, I used to go out and pregame warm up and blare music in my headphones and get all emotionally juiced up before the game started. But I've kind of noticed that works against me. Kind of exhausts me a little bit. So as much as I can kind of be calm in the right state of mind going into the game, and then obviously during the game just burn it out, and it's obviously very taxing on my body. So just try to use all the energy in a proper way.
Yeah, I don't think I've talked to a player who has at least like 4 or 5 years of experience in quite some time who has ever answered that question with music other than something very, very calm like you're talking about. So yep. I think, it sounds like you learn and you go from there.
No doubt.
All right, last thing, what do you eat before a game? Like say it's a noon game. What do you eat?
Noon game. I like to eat. I love bacon and eggs before when I wake up. But my little secret weapon is French toast with peanut butter and jelly on it. No syrup or butter, just peanut butter and jelly. Kind of give you that proper energy long term for the game and keep it rolling. So.
There you have it, kids. PB&J on a French toast, and you will become like Danny Amendola, NFL receiver. All right, my friend, good luck on Sunday. Best of luck against the Browns, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
French toast with peanut butter and jelly, that looks delicious with that powdered sugar on top. So that's what Danny Amendola has for breakfast. And there you see off to the corner, you see a little bit of Robert Prince, the wide receivers coach. He's reunited with him. The two were together last year in Detroit, and I know he had talked about being with David Culley when he was with the Eagles, the practice squad. So some familiar faces, obviously not just the Patriots, but even with the coaches that he's worked with in the past. There you see Mark Ingram, number 2. All ready for game day today.
I know. I already had a question on Twitter. Is Mark Ingram going to be the starting running back? Probably, yeah. But like we mentioned and what we heard earlier in the week, it's hot hand. So if Ingram gets cold, Lindsey gets hot, maybe it's Lindsey. If either of those guys get hot and it's Burkhead or David Johnson, it's one of those guys. So 4 of them are active. Scotty Phillips is not. Keep your eye on the running backs today because they definitely want to run it again. I know that does not change from week to week. They want to be able to run the ball and run it all season long.
Well, Jacob, that leads into Jacob's question. He says, which will be more important for the offense today, run game or pass game, as we take a live look at some of the running backs and the wide receivers there warming up along with the quarterbacks?
Neither. They're both important equally.
Okay.
All preseason long we heard, they're not going to be able to go deep. They can't hit the deep ball. They did it last week, and they did it effectively. They need to probably do it a little bit more to keep defenses honest and keep 8 guys on defense out of the box when the Texans are trying to run it. But, it's very important. You're not going to just do one or the other and succeed in the NFL.
I disagree with you, Drew Doherty. I'm going to say the run game. I'm going to say the run game's important.
Okay. Well, they're both important.
They're both important, but I just think today, just to keep Baker Mayfield off the field, if they can dominate time of possession. They did a great job with that last week against the Jags. They had 35 minutes to their 25. But also, when you're going against a pass rush like that, I think the best way to neutralize a good pass rush is with a good run game. So.
True, but just
I'm
remember,
gonna go run game, but
just
you know what?
remember, Jadeveon Clowney is excellent against the run.
He's excellent against the run, and he's excellent wherever he is on the field. But you know what? If Tyrod Taylor wants to throw 5 touchdowns passes, I'm not gonna fight that. I'll be okay with that.
Awesome. Hey, Alex has a question. It's called "What are the keys to a win today?" And I'll stick with what I just said. Get some deep strikes, and also get some more. Keep getting those turnovers, 3 per, and be a little more special on special teams as far as returns, whatnot, on punts and kickoffs. So that's what I'll go with. What are your keys?
I like that. I'm going to say run the ball, be able to run the ball really well. I think as far as getting pressure on Baker Mayfield and stopping the run, the defense has, I think the defense has a laundry list of things that they need to get done today. But if they can put some pressure on Baker Mayfield, get some takeaways and some drives like that, that'd be great. I think just more of what we saw last week would be really good against this Browns team.
Well, hey, our food is here, and this show is time to wrap. So,
is it French toast with peanut butter and jelly?
It's not French toast with PB&J, but that does sound good.
It does sound good.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for Texans Unlimited presented by Verizon. You can check out HoustonTexans.com because we're going to have the press conferences. We'll have stories from the game. We'll have highlights. We'll have more of today's game as the game is going on, during the game, after the game. And be sure to follow us on Twitter. You can watch the broadcast on CBS. You can also listen to it on Sports Radio 610 with Mark Vandermeer, Andre Ware, and our very own John Harris on the sidelines. That's going to do it for our show. A lot of people worked on it, so I want to give a special thanks to everyone who did. Tyler Marcotte, Amanda Caffey, Einav Leibowitz, Drew Doherty, right here,
Hi.
Mitchell Moreland, Jared Huff, who joins us on the field with his camera, and to all of you for watching. Thanks so much. And as always, go Texans.